Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hivemind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You know, every now and then, CNN happens to tell the truth. It's usually a Freudian slip, or only telling the truth after they've already set the narrative for the public event they want to affect, and then after they achieve their required goal, they'll tell the truth when it's not important anymore to try to feign some sort of credibility. And in some cases, they end up telling the truth because they're just so drunk on air during a New Year's Eve party. Yep, I'm sure you guys remember, or you follow it, but every single year, hosts like Don Lemon and Anderson Cooper get absolutely plastered live on air on New Year's and end up making absolute fools of themselves. This time, however, it was actually kind of epic. And not because of Anderson Cooper or Don Lemon, but because of a guy named Andy Cohen, who ended up telling the truth about how New Yorkers actually feel about comrade leftist Mayor Bill de Blasio, the absolute incompetent buffoon who's literally ruining the city of New York. And so one interesting thing that I want to talk about here is there's two things that Democrats can't handle. The first is the truth, and the second is obviously their liquor. And so I gotta show you guys this moment that we gotta pile on and go after Mayor Bill de Blasio, go after leftists in general, and we'll go after Washington. But before we get into any of it, please make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, share the video as much as possible. We are still shadow banned by the YouTube algorithm, hidden from non-subscribed viewers. And of course, I want to wish you guys a happy new year, and may 2021 be at least less garbage than 2020. Hopefully we can at least trend in the right direction. Now with that out of the way, let's roll the tape. Alright guys, so like I told you, this clip is interesting to say the least, but I have to admit I did get a kick out of it. Check this out.
And 2020 is gone.
And 2020 is freaking gone.
So
we flushed it down the toilet.
I definitely do not need this.
Like the fecal mess that it was. This is a little half. I like saying that. Let's just. I'm glad I brought 2 bottles of this.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. All right.
Oh my God.
That's how I felt when I saw Mayor de Blasio dancing just now.
What are you
I just don't need to see that at the beginning of 2021. Do something with this city. Honestly, get it together.
God. Goodness.
I don't know who this Andy Cohen guy is. I think I've seen him on a couple TV shows. I think he does like some reality TV show stuff and interviews celebrities. He seems like the pop culture tabloid type of celebrity guy. But one thing I know is that I definitely agree with his take, at least when inebriated. It seems as though give a Democrat a little bit of truth serum and they start actually telling the truth, like finally admitting the flaws of their absolute incompetent leaders. And this is something that's no surprise to anybody. Democrat, Republican, Independent, random person on the street who doesn't even know who Mayor Bill de Blasio is, everyone can at least agree that he's possibly the worst mayor of all time, maybe closely followed by Ted Wheeler. But the question is, what exactly was Andy Cohen referring to? Well, he was referring to this. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio seen dancing at Times Square after telling everyone else to stay home. And so isn't it interesting how these Democrats, especially these elitist Democrats, are so absolutely tone deaf, so disconnected from regular folk, regular Americans, that they can do something like this, fly in the face of their own draconian lockdown measures, an absolute slap in the face to regular Americans who have their businesses shuttered, people who are literally losing everything. They turn on their TV, hopefully thinking 2021 is going to be a great year, and they kick off 2021 with that. The man who's putting them out of business, the man who's running New York City in the ground, dancing and having a merry old time as his job's secure, his future's secure, and he gets to celebrate New Year's with his loved ones and with people around him on taxpayer dollars, funding the whole stage and the whole shebang around him, flaunting it in your face. No surprise, this man's probably the most hated man in New York. But this is Democrat leadership, folks. A total disconnect from reality. Across these metropolitan cities, it's the same trend over and over again. Liberal academic types who come from cushy environments, cushy lifestyles, who just can't connect with regular folk. You know, with politicians, it's the same thing as people who work in like the tech industry and stuff like that. Folks who are still working despite the pandemic. Folks who are working from home, absolutely no issues whatsoever, still collecting a paycheck. Jobs are still secure, who have absolutely no connection to those who actually have to go out there and earn their living. It's really the most frustrating part for me. I understand the privilege of working from home. I worked in tech before I started the YouTube game, and now obviously doing YouTube, I can work from home as well. well. But one thing I don't do, despite personally being quite privileged, is flaunt that privilege and not connect with the average American, the average folk who may own a restaurant or who may have to go out there and work a quote non-essential job. Those people are suffering, and I'm not going to tell them, "Oh, well, suck it up, buttercup, you're losing everything, we're just saving lives here," as I tweet from my couch in front of the fireplace in my cushy environment. That is the difference between a normal person and a Democrat elitist, and we see it every single time over and over again. During the riots, it was the same thing. Enabling the violence, encouraging the violence. "Oh, well, businesses have insurance," and then the moment it steps into their neighborhood, they're the first people to call the police, the first people to turn on them and call them animals. As long as if they encourage it when it doesn't affect them, and then the moment it steps in their space, they sing a whole different tune. This is the notion of tone-deaf elitist Democrats. This is exactly what people absolutely hate. This is what regular folk are disgusted by when it comes to Democrat politicians and Democrat thought leaders, and I understand it. I totally get it. It's just utter contempt for regular working class people, for people in the quote flyover states. You know, really to put that into perspective, I randomly clicked on this leftist video over here in relation to John Ossoff because I was covering it for another story. And here's a Bernie person, I don't want to misgender them, with their take on a Republican after hearing the information, the false claim of John Ossoff saying that Kelly Loeffler campaigned with a Klansman, a total outright lie. Look at the far leftists and their condescending nature towards anybody who thinks differently than them.
Damn, right? Damn. But he's saying this on Fox News. So in reality, the people that are watching Fox News are probably hearing, "What? Kelly Loeffler campaigned with a former member of the Ku Klux Klan? Well, I wasn't sure if she was serious, but now I'm going to vote for her." That's most likely the reaction. That is most likely going to be the reaction of the Fox News audience listening to Pretty Boy over here saying this. It's most likely going to be, "Well, damn, I didn't know that one. I'm gonna go vote for Kelly now, twice over."
They're such incredible people now, aren't they? Pretending to be connected or for the working class while having utter contempt for those exact people. The people who feed them. The people who build their homes, who build their streets, who build the bridges. The people who are the literal backbone of society. And we're seeing the same thing in Oregon. Of course, Portland with a runner-up for the worst mayor of the year who's allowed this to happen for how long. And once again, these Pantifa weirdos victimizing the little guy, the small folk. Portland Antifa ring in the new year by hurling Molotovs at federal courthouse and destroying small businesses. Well, isn't that just swell? Don't you really love the compassionate far left who's just out there for the worker and going after the billionaire class as they endlessly destroy small business and have the same policies as Best Buy and Starbucks and vote for the same candidates as Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates, the media tycoons, big pharma lobbyists and CEOs, you name it. It's a complete joke, friends, an absolute complete joke. People who prove themselves to be absolute hypocrites over and over again. The people who tell you about plastic being the exact folk who buy mass water bottles and throw them on the streets. Who remembers this picture of Greta Thunberg? Look at this story right over here. Chicago Teachers Union leader claims it's unsafe for teachers to return to classroom while tanning poolside in Puerto Rico.
Wow.
It's just all so cringy. And speaking of cringy, speaking of actually a couple connections here, who these folk voted for in the New York Times Square celebration, check out this cringy moment with Joe Biden and his wife Jill Biden on national TV. Check this out.
Keep the faith.
Get it, pop it, here it comes. They never work right. Here's to better luck in the new year.
Oh, well.
Thanks, guys.
Well, folks, allegedly the leaders of the free world. And we're also screwed because we got this. Congress overrides President Trump's veto on the $740 billion defense bill. And so any potential for Section 230 reform is in serious jeopardy. And you know Joe Biden's not going to go after that one. Mitch McConnell once again slashing down the $2,000 checks for regular everyday Americans. The president can't veto the stimulus bill. And of course, all of that wasteful pork spending's going to foreign nations. And with potentially Washington headed back to the status quo of old, the hope of effective government spending for the American people using your taxpayer dollars for your benefit is going right down the drain. Any hope for freedom of speech on the internet and a little bit of pushback and reform on these tech oligarchs and their control over information and speech, that hope might also be down the drain. And so the fight will continue in more than one ways going forward. And that's a fight that I'm committed to, and it's a fight that I take very seriously, and we will continue to battle alongside you guys as soldiers members in this battle until I'm 6 feet under, and I've promised that on countless occasions, and I intend to keep it. But that's the video that I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, share the video as much as possible. We are still shadow banned by the YouTube algorithm. Now I gotta get back to work, folks. You guys know how much information needs to be parsed through every single day to keep you guys informed, so I'm gonna get to that. I wanna thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.